Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise, pull out those key nuggets of knowledge, the insights you really need. And today we're taking a deep dive that's, well, truly unconventional.
Indeed. Yeah, we've got this unique narrative laid out for us, a whole series of pretty extraordinary events. Our job today is basically to distill the core insights from it, right? Find the surprising facts and maybe explore the human elements in this really astounding account.
Yeah, imagine a world where, I don't know, the line between horror fiction and just deeply unsettling reality gets incredibly blurry.
Right.
The material we're diving into today, it tells the story of a police officer, Sarah Petit. She gets caught in this absolute nightmare scenario and forms this really unexpected alliance with an elite military operative. So we'll be digging into like the nature of this mysterious contagion, the pretty chilling motives of the people behind it.
And maybe also those profound personal changes that happen, when you're faced with something just completely unimaginable. We're going to look at how people adapt when, well, their whole understanding of the world just shatters. What are the strategies you use against a threat that's totally unprecedented? And maybe the most surprising part, how these extraordinary circumstances can actually forge these incredibly strong bonds. Unbreakable, really.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Our story kicks off in this really gloomy, abandoned concrete building. Officer Sarah Petit, she's got her nightstick, flashlight, just responding to what looks like a routine call. But, it's anything but.
Right, and what's fascinating is how the source material just drops you right in. The sensory details are immediate. The broken glass underfoot, the graffiti, those first little scurrying sounds.
Yeah.
It sets a very specific mood, and it shifts super quickly from, like, standard police check to something deeply unnerving.
So Sarah, she moves carefully into this huge warehouse space, calls out, "Police!" Identifies herself. And then she sees him, this figure, just swaying at the far end of a long hallway.
First thought.
Yeah.
Junkie, right? That's the immediate assumption.
Exactly. That's what she assumes. But then she hears this weird moaning sound, and the description is specific. Inhuman. Yeah.
And that's the crucial point, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do those initial assumptions color what we perceive? Sarah's a trained officer. She defaults to, like you said, the common street reality, drug use. But the sound itself, it forces her to rethink. It hints that this is something completely outside her normal experience.
Her gut is screaming danger, but, duty calls. She has to check if the person needs help. So she gets on the radio, calls for backup, reports a person in distress.
And that call for backup, even just the act of calling, it provides this tiny moment of psychological relief. It's a small detail, but it really highlights the mental toll, the stress of uncertainty in a situation escalating that fast.
So this figure starts shuffling towards her. Sarah sees the wild hair, the clothes are all shredded, and the grunting, moaning sounds are still going. But here's where it gets really, really bad. The figure looks up, and half its face is just gone.
Gone.
Like the text says, as if something had gnawed on his flesh, and then just these blank eyes stared out at her from a ruined face.
Wow. That visual, that's the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
The aha moment, but in the worst possible way. It just completely shatters her previous assumptions.
Yeah.
A stark, undeniable reveal of what she's really dealing with.
So just as she finally turns to run.
Yeah.
Yeah, a second figure appears from behind, trips her. She hits her head hard on the concrete floor, cracks her skull, she gets bitten, thigh, shoulder. But even with the injury, the disorientation, her focus is just survive until her backup arrived.
That tenacity, right? That raw human resilience in the face of just overwhelming odds. It's a theme that keeps coming back. There's another interesting detail there. She's crawling towards her cruiser. The second attacker seemed reluctant to step into the sun.
Oh, yeah.
It's a tiny clue, but maybe crucial later on about their vulnerabilities. And then she just blacks out.
So Sarah wakes up. It's a week later. She's in a hospital. Head is pounding. And she just has this feeling that something is deeply wrong. She's in a quarantine ward. Soon finds out the U.S. Army is involved.
And that's the shift, isn't it?
Yeah.
It goes from this intensely personal horror story to a national security issue. Boom, just like that. And that detail about some unknown doctor trying to take her blood, that immediately sets off alarm bells about, ulterior motives, even before she knows the full story.
Right. And that's our cue for Captain Xavier Beauvoir, U.S. Army Green Beret. He comes across as smooth, charming, maybe a little slick, and he just drops the bombshell. Sarah, you were attacked by zombies, or his term, reanimated corpses.
Reanimated corpses.
He explains they're the result of a contagion, something inadvertently developed by a team of military scientists. They were trying to induce rapid healing of battlefield injuries.
Which, if you connect the dots, it points to that classic dilemma in science, right?
Yeah.
Well-intentioned research.
With catastrophic results.
Exactly. Unintended consequences. But that rapid healing part, that's the key. Because it explains the very unusual outcome for a tiny fraction of people who get infected.
And here's the twist. Xavier reveals he also survived a bite. And he gained those same speed healing abilities. And he proves it. Cuts his own forearm with a knife right in front of her, and they watch it heal.
That demonstration is so important for the narrative, you know. It gives concrete proof. It makes these extraordinary claims feel real within the story's world. And then Sarah tries it herself, cuts her own hand, watches it heal, confirms her own abilities. That's a huge aha moment for her. And for us, listening.
Massive.
Yeah.
So Xavier tells her there have been 2 flare-ups of this thing, one at Court Bragg and now this one on Long Island. He's been tasked to contain it, eradicate the threat.
So it's not just a one-off freak event. It's recurring. It's spreading. That establishes the real scope of the danger. And it sets up the so what for Sarah. Her immunity isn't just survival. It makes her uniquely valuable. Crucial, even.
Exactly. So Xavier sees this, recognizes her unique position, and asks her to join his mission. Now imagine being asked that, facing those things again. And he warns her her immunity means if she's caught, she won't have the mercy of dying quick.
Chilling prospect.
But she agrees. Her sense of duty as a cop, it just overrides the fear.
And that shows you the profound impact these events had on her identity or purpose. She shifts from being a victim, reacting to events, to becoming a proactive participant, driven by this deep sense of responsibility.
So their first task together, revisit the scene of the crime, that abandoned building. Sarah meticulously retraces her steps. Xavier's there, noting every detail, assessing it tactically. And they find stuff, surveillance cameras, and even more disturbing, a DVD.
Which immediately makes you ask questions, right? Surveillance, that implies intelligence, premeditation. It's not what you expect from, mindless zombies. It suggests there's something more calculated going on, a human hand behind it.
Definitely. And the DVD, it's infrared surveillance footage of her attack. Xavier points out the heat signatures. The creatures are cold, blue-green, while Sarah is glowing red, orange, and yellow. It confirms everything. Her fight, her injuries, how she managed to drag herself out.
That visual detail, even just described, is really powerful. It hammers home how alien these reanimated corpses are. And it's this chilling validation of her horrific experience. But like you said, it also reveals the sinister nature of whoever was filming.
And it gets worse. The disc also has her personal files, medical records, work history, school records, total invasion of privacy.
Okay, so that confirms it.
Yeah.
She wasn't random. She was specifically targeted, observed, which totally reframes the whole thing. This isn't just an outbreak. It's a calculated operation. And that leads us straight to the question. Who is behind this?
Well, a top secret file provides the answer. Dr. Sellars, former military scientist. Turns out he's the mysterious doctor who tried to get her blood sample in the hospital. He's the mastermind behind this current outbreak.
And again, you see the importance of intelligence gathering in this kind of shadow conflict. It's operating outside normal channels.
So Sarah and Xavier track down Sellars' abandoned apartment. They find a USB drive, and that leads them to his current place, which is apparently way more upscale, $1 million residence.
That contrast tells you a lot, doesn't it? The creepy abandoned building versus the luxury pad. It really points towards personal gain driving Sellars now.
Yeah,
maybe more than just scientific curiosity.
Yeah.
It feels greedy.
And then things get even creepier. Some of Sellars' reanimated corpses start showing modifications, like limited speech. They can croak out master or kill, and they start working together, setting traps.
Okay, that's terrifying. The threat is evolving, it's adapting. They're not just mindless drones anymore. They're becoming coordinated tools, maybe even regaining some level of function. It points to Sellars continuing his unethical experiments, refining his creations. How do you even fight that?
Exactly. And then another DVD turns up at Sellars' fancy house. This one has his plan on it. He appears, but he's in shadow, says he's altered his appearance, and he basically proposes that Sarah should voluntarily turn yourself over to my pair, so he can study her immunity.
Wow. So that confirms his core motivation. He wants to study and presumably monetize the immunity, the contagion itself, and his threat, unleashing his creatures on a university campus, specifically targeting, as he puts it, stupid young co-eds.
Yeah, utterly depraved.
It just reveals his complete lack of conscience. He says he doesn't care if he kills off the whole damn species. His goal is to cleanse the planet and start over with just a few immune souls as seed stock.
Seed stock, that right there, that's the ultimate aha moment about this guy's true nature and the stakes. Planetary.
Absolutely terrifying scope. So just like he threatened, Sellars lures them to the campus, and Sarah gets grabbed, abducted by 3 of his zombies. And here's another horrible personal twist. One of them is Major Patrick Lafferty, Xavier's former commanding officer. Oh, man. That underscores the personal cost of this thing, doesn't it? Turning friends, colleagues, commanders into these things. And Sarah's in immediate critical danger now.
She wakes up, dark, damp basement, strapped to what she thinks is an operating table. Sellars shows up. His face is different, altered like he said. And he lays out his plan for her. He wants to tap your veins at will, cut and watch heal over and over again. Calls her his prize sow, his proof in the pudding.
Just horrific. It's the ultimate objectification, reducing her entirely to a research subject for his own gain. No regard for her humanity at all.
But Sarah, she shows incredible resourcefulness. She manages to escape the restraints. She twists her wrist at this unnatural angle, grabs a scalpel from a nearby tray, and uses it to cut the straps.
That's such a powerful moment of agency, right? Pure inner strength. It's not just physical escape, it's reclaiming control. It's a great example of thinking outside the box under extreme pressure, a real nugget of insight there.
Absolutely. And while she's escaping, she overhears Sellars on the phone. Critical intel. He says he has 20 of them on the grounds. He mentions names. Jennings, Rodriguez, former science team members.
Okay, so he wasn't working entirely alone on the science side.
Right. And Krychek, who apparently set him up in the beach house, and Zhao, a potential buyer. Sellars also confirms he has a boat ready for a quick getaway.
So this intel blows the conspiracy wide open. It's not just Sellars, there's a network. Jennings, Rodriguez, Krychek, this buyer Zhao. It suggests a whole underground market potentially interested in this bioweapon. That makes the mission much bigger.
Meanwhile, Xavier's team, including Lieutenant Sam Archer, they're hunting for Sellars. They find Dr. Sandra McCormick, another scientist from the original team. Sellars had tried to recruit her.
McCormick. She's initially hesitant, understandably, but eventually she gives them Sellars' private address and, crucially, reveals she developed an experimental serum, a potential antidote.
Finally, some hope.
A real potential game changer.
And they need it fast. Sam Archer gets exposed to the contagion while they're searching for Sarah. He has convulsions. It looks bad, but ultimately, he recovers. McCormick's serum actually works.
That's huge. A critical development. It offers a real countermeasure, finally, and it validates McCormick, too, right? Shows her commitment to fixing the danger she played a part in creating.
So, armed with the antidote and Sarah's intel, Xavier, Sarah, the team, they confront Sellars at his beach house. They start taking down the reanimated creatures methodically using toxic darts. And in the middle of all this chaos, Major Patrick Lafferty, Xavier's zombified former CO, attacks Sellars himself.
Whoa! That's ironic. Poetic justice, almost. Sellars, the creator, taken down by his own monstrous creation. It really underscores how uncontrollable his ambition became. Out of control.
Sellars dies. The antidote doesn't work on him. Maybe too far gone or something different about him. The Long Island outbreak is contained, at least for now, but Xavier warns that this is just for now because of that network Sellars had.
Exactly. The immediate threat is neutralized, but the larger war against the contagion and everyone else who wants to exploit it, that's clearly far from over. Too many loose ends.
Yeah. In the aftermath, we get Commander Matt Sykes, head of USOCOM. He lays out the bigger picture. Multi-agency effort, CDC, NIH, CIA, all trying to combat this thing, which is now confirmed as a global threat. He confirms the Fort Bragg outbreak is still active, and they desperately need more immune operatives like Sarah and Xavier.
So that connects their very personal story back to this massive global context.
Yeah.
It really emphasizes just how critical their unique immunity is on a world stage. They're not just survivors. They're potentially humanity's best defense.
Sykes offers Sarah a job, civilian contractor. He acknowledges her immunity, her police background, her proven skills, says the order comes from the highest levels, keep her on the team, offers her basically whatever you want.
That's quite a turnaround, isn't it? It shows her immense value in this new, terrifying reality. All his experiences didn't just break her, they forged her into someone indispensable. She adapted and became essential.
And woven through all this action and horror, there's this developing personal connection between Sarah and Xavier. Sarah was initially wary, of his charm, his bad boy persona, but going through hell together builds this deep trust and attraction.
It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? how shared trauma, intense collaboration under high stakes, it can just accelerate human connection like nothing else. They went from colleagues, allies, to something much deeper, much more intimate, finding stability in the chaos.
Xavier, he opens up to her, admits she's the one who's really getting under his skin. And he proposes, declares his love, says he wants a long-term future, forever if we can manage it.
Wow. That's incredibly compelling. Finding that kind of profound connection, that purpose, right in the middle of all that danger and uncertainty, it really suggests that even when things seem darkest, human connection remains this incredibly powerful force for hope, for stability. They built something solid on shifting ground.
And Sarah says yes. She realizes their survival, their partnership. Maybe it was destiny? She decides to take the federal job, not just for Xavier, but because she gets it now. It's her duty to make sure Sellars' absolutely twisted vision of the future never, ever happens.
And that brings it full circle, doesn't it? Her personal choice aligns perfectly with this larger sense of duty. Their love story isn't separate from the mission. It's become completely intertwined with, well, the potential survival of the species, finding personal purpose within a global fight.
So after that intense journey, what is this deep dive treating Sarah and Xavier's story as, factual events within its context? What does it mean for us? It really forces you to think about how quickly reality can just shift, how vulnerable our assumptions are to unforeseen threats, whether they're like this or something else entirely.
Yeah, it really challenges us to think about the value of, well, critical thinking for one, but also adaptability. And maybe most importantly, unconventional partnerships when you're facing the truly unimaginable. That ability to pivot, to leverage unique skills, even unexpected ones like immunity, and crucially, to build trust with others. That becomes paramount when the world turns upside down.
And it definitely leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to chew on, doesn't it? If knowledge itself can be turned into a weapon, as Sellars tried to do, and if that line between what we call human and what we might call monster starts to blur, then where do we draw the line? And what personal sacrifices are ultimately necessary to protect the kind of future we actually want to live in?